They thought Steve Jobs was the technical man, but they didn't understand because people, if you want to succeed in business, study successful business and study ones that are unsuccessful. Learn, you can learn from either parties, right?
Anyway, we're around this area now, looking at service, looking at business, because business, from the way I look at it, is rendering service. When you render a service that is useful to another person or other people, they pay you for that.
There's so many things I've done, and it was a shame that, looking back, it was a shame that I didn't have people to spot that talent in me because I was building cars, those wire cars, aeroplanes. My name is Buckarie Dumbuya, also known as Dumbuya. So when you see or hear the name Buck or Buckarie Dumbuya, I would like you to understand that that name is the substance of inspiration and transformation. I am the bridge that creates opportunity to encourage and empower people, businesses, community leaders, and organizations to look within and embrace and exploit the essence of their resources to realize success. So I'm pretty much focused on internal success and help people to realize the external success they desire. I am coming from different professional and educational background, include psychology, sociology, accounting, business administration, business with human resource management, and my master's of design innovation management. It's my labor, my creativity, my innovative idea and concept. So I am a fashion innovator. The heart on the top I'm wearing, the accessory is my design, and I made them.
Thank you so much for that. That is interesting. We are wearing what you are making. That is fantastic. That is the best way to actually market it, so that people can see how it fits on you. Then they can understand how it will fit on them. I'm talking of marketing. Of course, that will automatically just take us to the conversation of today. We are talking about business. And in business, there are a lot of things that actually make it work. I say quite often that business is like a machine. There are a lot of moving parts in it. So we need to be able to understand it so that we can make the machine work for us. Today, of course, we are going to be talking about innovation, management, mindset, and why not strategy. So let's do it like this. Help us understand it, Buckarie. How did you get started in business?
I've never been asked this question before. Thank you for the question, and thank you for allowing me to be on your platform, for me to not only to share my knowledge or my business identity or personal brand, so to speak, but to also to take people or the listener, the audience, to the journey of my evolution, the story of my life, having been designed, nurtured in Sierra Leone and developed in the United Kingdom. So my business journey started in Sierra Leone. The UK is my home, and so is Sierra Leone. is my backland and home. So it was during my childhood, I would say. My mom was a businesswoman. She used to sell clothes. She sells fruits, mango. She sells different those food stuff that you need at home. So she was a businesswoman. Prior to that, and I found that a few years ago, before my mom passed away last year, that my mom, she was selling in Sierra Leone, we call it fried fry. What that means is that it's like just fry chicken, rice, plantain, akara, like cake, and with bread, and you cook gravy and you sell it. Street food, to be precise. I didn't know that until a few years when I started documenting, taking information, interviewing my mom. I've got all of that because I love story. So I'm just giving a background for you to understand where I'm coming from. So with that being said, so I remember when crisis happened, I shared it in one of the videos we've recorded. My dad, may his soul continue to rest in peace, passed away 8 years ago. Next month it will be 9 years on the 20th of June when he passed away. He was a seaman. He traveled around the world. And then he went back to Sierra Leone, the last trip, and then he could not come back. I think the contract finished. And then it was supposed to receive life pay, like payment, everything for life, and for three of his children, and his wife. But guess what? The Iranian government took that money, so we're faced with crisis. And that crisis led us from living in a brick house to living in a zinc house. So with that being said, living in a zinc house as a child, I wasn't going to school at that time, dropped out primary school, crisis happened. But we were living life with a sense of humility, coping, hoping that my dad will receive the pay. So one day as a boy during my early teens, I think I was 12 or 13, in an area in Sierra Leone in Africa. As a kid or kids, we tend to go out. We call it like I don't know what it's called back then, but we grouped ourselves and then we went to the bush for fun, just adventure. So we went to look for mangoes, and then we eventually saw a fruit called plum. And that plum, sweet and sour plum, some of them they're sweet. And we brought them home for fun. And people started buying it. And I saw that as an opportunity to do business. I didn't know about business, but I saw the profit making money. My mom started selling the fruit. And then I was making money, and then we started going. And because I was young, I could not climb trees, but the elders would climb, and then they would shake the trees, and then we'll pick the plums, and then they'll share, like younger. And then after that, I started climbing. So I was doing that, making money. Fast forward, my mom was selling it. I started making money. I said, Mom, keep it for me. And then my mom will use it as well. And I started helping my family as well. And then I started fetching wood. And then from there, mango, we started selling. And then moving forward, I started selling kerosene. Kerosene And when there is no light, blackouts, and people will buy kerosene to use for their lamps or use it for their. So I started selling kerosene even in my secondary school. And then from that, I was selling stationery as well. My brother was doing business as well. And then another business I was doing was screen printing. I didn't know that's what it's called because I'm in the fashion industry now. So in Sierra Leone, we call it stencils. So I used to look at this, my elders, this group of people, when they were printing t-shirts, and I copied them, and I started doing t-shirts for social clubs, started making money, and then building cars as well, then drawing, doing artistic work, and I started making money. That's where my business journey started before I relocated to the UK. And then I went into the fashion industry, started helping people with their academic work, copywriting work, then doing work for people. And then, yes, and I'm here being I'm a coach. I help businesses, as I said, mentor, and yeah, so it goes on. So that's the journey. It's a bit long, but I just cut it short. It's actually long, but I just wanted to cut it short and give a background because it's important for people to know I've not shared this in public. So this is the first place for me to share it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And sharing that, it actually made me remember something that I too I haven't shared in public before. And sometimes because these things, they just sort of go down in our memory. As you were talking of selling kerosene, I remember I too I sold kerosene when I was in Nigeria. I was a little boy then, and of course we used to do that a lot to make money as little kids, so that in the mindset that we grew up with, we have been business oriented for a very many long time. Only that at the point we sort of lost this because we are looking for the corporate job. But if we remember now, if we think back, which is actually one of the benefit of telling story, when we tell story, we sort of help people to connect to their past.
Absolutely.
You see, you were talking of selling kerosene in Sierra Leone. Then I remember that I was selling kerosene in Nigeria. And I'm very positive that somebody listening to us, there is a person out there who is going to remember that when he or she was small, she was also selling kerosene. Maybe not in Sierra Leone, maybe not in Nigeria, maybe another country. So by telling story, we're actually helping people to connect to themselves, not only to you because they don't know you. They have never been to Sierra Leone. I've never been to Sierra Leone, but I understand through your story what it means to sell kerosene.
Yeah, that was a beautiful memories. Sell kerosene and building cars. When you get to there's so many things I've done, and it was a shame that looking back, it was a shame that I didn't have people to spot that talent in me because I was building cars, those wire cars, aeroplanes, and I remember when my dad was traveling abroad. It was a seaman, so whenever I goes back to Sierra Leone, he would buy toys, those electrical toys. So what I would do, I was that curious kid. So I'll open it, take it apart, dismantle it, and then look what's in there, the motor and everything. Then I will create my own toy. Started using metals. At one point, I was thinking of creating a helicopter that could fly. You see, all of this drum, people that know me, they know. They were not talking about innovation. Now we're having this discussion. I'm thinking about. I had the thought of creating a helicopter that flies, and I also there was a trainers in America. They said sneakers came out. It's called LA Gear when I was in Sierra Leone. So when you step, it lights at the back. I created mine. I was bluffing. I created mine. And also another thing that I did, I didn't know about entrepreneurship. Looking back, that's why I've been writing a lot, keeping things behind closed doors. for people to know that, when you see people out there successful in business, sometimes it might seems like it's a quick scheme. No, it goes back years of the beginning of the journey of entrepreneurship. I didn't even know what was entrepreneurship. I was going with the flow. So another thing, the business that I also was doing, I was actually making radios, Walkman for people. And how I learned, when I took my Walkman, at that time it's valuable because growing up as a kid, I had that privilege before crisis hit my family. So I had Walkman. So I took the Walkman to a mechanic, my friend brother. So when he was repairing my Walkman, I looked. I will never forget this. There is something called cartridge underneath the Walkman, the tape. So when you get dirt, it will stop. It wouldn't work. So you have to clean it. You need to clean it, like the CD disc. So I saw all of that, and then the things that I've paid him for to fix my Walkman, whenever I have that experience, I will fix it myself. And then I learned by doing it myself, and then I started fixing. That's what I've got to my home cinema for over 10 years. Yeah, I've been the one fixing it because I'm curious, because I can take TV apart, even my phone. So I've had that talent. So I've been making money, all of that, even my watch back in the day. But I didn't have the opportunity for me to explore that creativity in me. But the message that I used to get, they will say in Sierra Leone, "Di boboya, a witch. This boboya, now white mango can take a meka and go overseas." What that means is that, which in a sense that in a good way, to say because I'm creative, they see me as a genius. I'm not normal. To say that like as a witch, like that Freemason mentality. Say you're very. Say they said because I'm a witch, because only witch can do creative things, like beyond the ordinary eyes. So they said one day a white man would take me overseas and fly me. At that time, there was no YouTube. I used to even carve. I used to look at people drawing, sketching them and everything. I was making money from all of those things.
You see, the beauty of this, I think, okay, for those that are listening to us, maybe from Africa now, of course, our major target here are the African and the African diaspora, is that we need to look at our children and see what they love to do. And what we can do is to encourage them to do what they love to do. Now, this is why. If we encourage them to love more what they already love, life will be easier for them. Okay, in the sense that they will understand more what is their mission here. And if they know that and they put all their energy in it, like they really pour themselves in that, they will be able to help themselves and also be able to help the society. But if they don't know why they are doing it, when the challenges come, they are going to throw it away. Now, this is why it becomes a little bit more delicate, in that each of us, like I was saying before, is part of a machine. And the machine, again, is what I used to describe the society, call it a community. Each of us is part of it. And this is also part of the African philosophy of life, that you are not just a part, you are part of the whole. Being part of the whole now doesn't mean you are going to do the thing that every other person is doing. No, if that is what everybody is doing, the society is going to go in hunger. Somebody need to know how to run. Another person need to know how to watch who is running so that you can take measure of how many distance that person have run. It doesn't mean you need to run yourself. You just need to watch. Another person need to go and plant. Somebody need to process the crop. You see, at the end of the day now, if we are allowed to develop what is our natural inclination, we will become much, much richer because we will find value which we will develop to help ourselves and to help the community. Anyway, we're around this area now, looking at
Absolutely.
service, looking at business, because business, from the way I look at it, is rendering service. When you render a service that is useful to another person or other people, they pay you for that. That is business. That is how I see it. But sometimes there is a lot of things that make it more complicated for us that we don't even understand it. So this is where I wanted to start the conversation. Help us understand what does it mean by business development. Please share with us. Your experiences is very important now.
Okay, thank you. Um, I will shed light brief on what you just said earlier about the fact that us African parents or guidance wanted to spot talents on young people and help them, nurture them. I could have all as well, but we were not allowed to do all of those things. I could have been, I'm dancing now because I danced until my parents wanted me to dance. I remember when there was an event, my brother was part of a social dancing group. I was open to open the show. And I was probably 14 or so. I don't know. Yes, I was 15. And I danced, and my name went viral within the community. And then the news reached. My dad was obviously street Muslim. All he cares about education, praying, and is a very responsible, very strict, and it's good. That's the reason why I am the person I am today. I wasn't allowed to go out, and then my dad's. They said someone went to tell my dad. I said, if you're in Sierra Leone, they said, oh, you're in Sabi dance. So wow. I said, Sabi dance. I said, if you're not open your eye now, go finishing your education. At that time, I've just started studying. I was in secondary school, and what that means is that your son is a good dancer. He can dance. But if you're not strict with it, it will not finish his education. And my dad called me, did you dance? I said, if I ever see you dance anymore, I'll chop your feet. And that was it. And I was a talented dancer, natural dancer. He exposed us to watching Michael Jackson at the age of 5, Thriller, all of those things. I was watching those movies. So we had videos. My dad were one of the people who were so first like shit color TV in Sierra Leone. So moving forward, that was another thing that that was paused, but now I'm dancing. So now talking about business development, I would make business development. I wouldn't go deep into it. I'll give people a brief idea because I would have prepared for it. I made reference, but it's okay. I'm talking from my head and my experience, and from my own specialty and my experience with businesses, not only within the field of academic. I've worked with different organizations and work with different companies, and then I've also read books besides the knowledge I gain. When you look at what business environment, and the word business environment has been misconstrued globally within the field of academia, within the business world, and online, of course, social media, and in the actual industry. The reason why I said this, during 2019, I was working, I'll reveal this now, as a self-employed when I registered as a self-employer in the UK. So I needed money. So I wanted to work. At that time, I just received my qualification, my master's, my recent degree, MSc in design. So everywhere I went, and the interviews that I've had, job interviews, they saw me as threats. And sometimes they'll say, why didn't you apply? The managers who I supposed to work with, this was the last interview. I went through, I passed the role play and everything, and then I was sent to the location where I was supposed to work to be interviewed and meet the person who was supposed to be my line manager. I said, your CV is good. Why didn't you apply your management role before the interview started? But what it didn't know, it was the regional director spotted me when I was working as a security guard. I'm answering the question differently to understand my business. The reason why I became self-employed to create my own business, because business development, it starts from within, not from outside. So, and then went there, because I don't like to use influence. So the guy said to me, the manager said to me, okay, sit down, let me interview. And it was supposed to be to meet him. And because I've already passed the role play, the first stage, and just to work with him, and then after the interview. So when he said my CV was too good for the position I applied for, I smiled. I said, yes, I didn't tell him that I was, if I told him that I was referred by the regional director, I would have got the job. Well, I didn't want to use that influence because I knew myself. But anyway, and then the interview with me and him started. And then when he interviewed me, during the interview, he said, my only concern is I don't want you to come here and don't listen to instructions. I said, regardless of my experience, my academic qualifications, my CV, trust me, when you get to know me, I'm a man of humility. I'm humble. I don't care what. I'm not defined by what I have accomplished. It's just a reflection of the action I took to accomplish those things. But if I have to mop the floor, I will do it. When you get to, long story short, they said it would give me a call. He did not call me. 1 week passed, I didn't hear from him. And I called the HR, and the HR said, he didn't call you. I said, yes. They said, he'll get back to me. And then I messaged the regional director, who gave me his complimentary card to apply. He wrote my name on his application. But the guy who interviewed me, the last guy, didn't know. But the managers who interviewed me at the main office, the recruitment office, they knew. They were saying, and that's the guy, that's Tony, the man, his name is Tony, the regional director. I said, that's him. So we did a role play because I'm good at those things. So I didn't use my influence. And that's one of my stories. So anyway, that passed. And then when I finished the interview on that day, and I messaged the manager, the regional director, I said, thank you once again for the referrals. And then I said, your managers, they were very good. And I gave them good feedback. And then he said, I told you, because I was working for a security company, and they had a conversation with me. And it was a customer at the pub where I was working. He said, come work with me. He said, my company, we're a corporate organization. You get more money. I said, would you have another job? I said, no, I am studying. I'm studying. And he said, what are you studying? I said, MSc in Design Innovation Management. And they said, I would like you to come and work for me. It would be nice because you would get not only work and make money, but you have opportunity to grow within the company. I went there to work as a security, got more money working with corporate. And this guy told me, the manager, was saw my qualification as a threat. And then moving forward from that, when I didn't get that, and then I sent a message to him that I said, this is the situation. I think it was months after months. And I said, could you send me back again the email? I will send the email, the records I had during the conversation. And they said, oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah, I said, I remember you, but it's too late now. I said, can you reapply again? I said, no, I'm not going to reapply again. I said, is it okay to have a meeting with you for me to propose the vision I had? Because the vision I had to work with that company was not only to work as a security guard, but to also offer training programs for free. Because business development starts from within. I'll round up in a minute, so I'm just painting a picture. So that was the business idea I had, to give my value for free, and then the organization will see that. So I was trying to build my business, my consultation business. I've just received my qualification design. So the man said to me, unfortunately, we've got our experts, because this is over 8 months since I had the incident. I wanted to go back and work because I was looking for a job. I needed money to save to build my business, to raise capital. And then they said, to me, we've got, I wouldn't have, because I want to have a meeting with him to propose to him. It said, they've got their experts, so they're not getting someone outside. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, it said, if I still want the job, then let me reapply. I said, sorry, I'm not going to apply anymore. I said, all the best. And I've got the emails of all of those things. And that's it. That's one aspect of my stories, of many stories. So now, in the future, people will understand about the other stories that I had. So now, business developments. When you hear the word business, what comes to mind?
What comes to my mind, it will go to what I was saying before, that I think business is about rendering a service to a valuable service, okay, not just a valuable, or a service that somebody can find valuable and willing to pay for that service. Yeah, that is how I would see business.
Yeah, thank you. So the reason why I did that deliberately, I know you mentioned that, I listened, right? So I just wanted to connect the dot now, so for people to understand where I'm getting to, right? So now the word business developments, right? I would divide it into two aspects. From a layman perspective, the word business is to get busy, like busy bees. You're busy, but you're not effective, but you're not productive. You're not creating value. You're busy. Many people you see them online, they're busy. That's the layman, but I'm doing this, I'm doing business. But the question is, are you creating value, like you mentioned? What service do you have that is affecting the lives of people in a positive way, that has value? But that's what the economics terminology of business means. Having a product and service, the manufacturing products and services, or the production of businesses or business products and services, manufacturing of business or services, to address the needs of people or customers, at the same time while maximizing profits, making profits. So in a nutshell, in economics, business is about identifying the problems or the needs of your customers, and then design and create a product or service that address those needs, and then have a business module that would maximize profit. There will be a viability profit. So that's business. And in fact, when you look at developments, development, let me take it now outside the economic world. Think about the development of humanity, human beings. No one was developed outside themselves. I know scientists are trying to create an opportunity like a tube. I don't know if you've seen that, for women not to allow the babies to be to develop within their wombs. But again, when you look at the tube scientists are creating, it's still internal. Because it's not exposed to the air. It's a transparent tube. So now, thinking about the development of babies. So we were sperm cell from a male organ into our mother's womb. And then according to biologists, it takes about 42 weeks or 9 months. Sometimes 8 months, sometimes I say premature, but it doesn't really matter. It takes time to develop within for us to be born into this world in reality, in terms of our physicality. So like business development, it comes with value. The value to add value in the marketplace, to create value for customers, for people, to address their needs, to solve their problems. And then we make profit by doing that. So it's about value creation. So business development is constant development, internal environment. So if I want to be precise now, to give a definition, my own definition of business development. So business development, think about critical factors. Business is about creating products or services that has value for your target audience or customers or the end users. But a business without profits is not a business. You're just being busy. You can have a valuable business, but if you don't have the business module, that economic factor or the engine to maximize profits for you to keep serving your customer or providing the creating products, innovative products, your business will fail. And if you're in business, you're not having customer, you're not in business from economics perspective. You're just busy like busy bees. So when it comes to business development, now you've established your business, right? You need to think about critical factors. Your customers, the main stakeholders, your customer one, the customer you're serving, or the customer you're creating products for. Then you need to think about markets, and that to do with the business environment. I'll get to that in a minute. The markets. And you need to think about the business module for you to survive in the business environments, in the marketplace. It's a market, and the customer falls with markets. But in markets, it's marketplace, it's a business environment. It could be online, it could be a marketplace and a physical environment where you sell your product, where traders or business people sell their products and services. You need to have strategy. It comes with a strategy. That strategy is determined by the mindset and the purpose. You mentioned about mission earlier on. So a lot of people that misconstrue that. If you look at, you can research in the definition of business environment and business development, there are many definitions out there, but they're missing the opportunity to realize that sense of creativity to bring value in the marketplace and to actualize profits. And because they lack innovative mindsets. So there are many books out there, different definitions. Some of them make sense. Some of them, when you look at them, you can see there is lack of visibility in terms of creativity to realize profitability. So in a nutshell, business environment and business development is the substance and the strategic approach that every business or organization needs to identify opportunity or opportunities in the marketplace and then create value in society, while at the same time maximizing profits. So all of that in its process, first it comes with a mindset, right? So if you don't have the right mindset or the right strategy, you will fail. In 1997, I believe, Steve Jobs was interviewed about about Apple. You know, Apple was established in 1976. So when Steve Jobs was interviewed, and he was asked about business and strategy about as board directors, I believe. So it said, when it comes to business, it's about strategy. It said, if you have the right strategy and you focus on the top line, the bottom line will follow. What that means is that your employees, remember, when it comes to business development, it's the mindset of the CEO and perhaps the founders. And I always say, you as a founder, it's not a qualification to be the CEO of your business. The reason why many businesses are failing and they don't even understand the essence of business developments, especially those who are in business, is because they don't have the right business mindset. They don't understand about the essence, the intricacy of strategy, business strategy. Business development is part of strategy. Because the mindset, the mind, as I would say, the mind, like land, the mind is the source where all wealth, inventions, innovations begin before becoming real in the world.
There is another thing I'm sort of needed a clarification on. You did say that business development actually start from within and not from the outside. I don't know if you want to clarify that more for people that are listening to us.
When it comes from within, it's a mindset, right? So you want to develop a business, you want to establish your business. You've got something called a strategic approach called the entrepreneur life cycle. I don't know if I can, let me write it here and then I'll share it. Then it makes more sense. I'll share it here. I'll write it on my paper. It will make more sense. This I'm going with the flow. I'll get that one first. I need a red one. I'll write it here and then I'll bring it to the camera. I'll write down here. Okay, is it okay?
Yeah, that is visible. If you come down a little bit.
No. So this is something I normally do with myself as well.
Down. I don't see that. Okay, from there we can see.
So I normally do this. I'll give you one of my secrets. It's time now 23. Then I'll put the date. Today is the 10th, isn't it?
It's too far away. We are not seeing it.
Oh, okay. Today is the 10th. Okay, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2024, right? I will adjust in a minute.
Okay, we're seeing it. We are seeing everything.
Wow. So we're because the camera, so we're it's slack, but it's still showing. But anyway, So now, and it was the end, and I'll bring it closer. So people, I'm just gonna say this is the life cycle. There is, okay, you can see, okay, there is a cycle like that. You can see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me put this up like that. Okay. Ignore this one. No. So let me put this like that. So here is the startup phase. Here is the startup phase. Startup phase, then you have the growth. This is the business development. I wasn't thinking of sharing this, but maturity. I will explain. Let me use this right here. Exit. I'll explain briefly. This I do workshop. I have workshop training for. So as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. This is a strategy. In strategy, yeah. So the question that you ask me about within, when I said business start, you ask me, so what I meant by business development start from within. So now, if I ask you questions, right, and I want you to express yourself based on what you think, or no, reality, I would like you to answer this. Yeah. So before you started your business, you use your eyes. This is something I shared in my books, some of the content I have not published yet. No, I think I've shared it. You use your eyes, yeah? We use our eyes to see. It's a vision. We use our eyes to see. But guess what? Our mind thinks. We cannot think with our eye. So the mind is not outside us. So we see opportunity outside. If we close our eyes, we walk outside in the street, we will not see nothing because our mind is closed. The eyes are the windows to the mind, but the mind is the managing director of the lives that we have and the business we create. This is called the entrepreneur life cycle, right? Entrepreneur life cycle. This is a strategic terminology, right? I'm using. Okay, this startup phase. So now you've got different types of business development. So let me clarify that. So now business development, just like you said, let me use as an example. Before you started your business, you saw opportunity in the market, or you saw problems. The problems are opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you saw that. That's what a lot of people do. They run away. If you're running away, if you're a business person, you're running away from a problem. You're not a business person. Trust me. And you will not make money. Don't chase money. Don't chase money. Look where there are problems and then come up with an idea. So the point I was trying to say is that, so you saw an opportunity in the marketplace or in society, then your mind thinks, because that's your thought from within. In innovation, we're going to get into that. Okay. So the thought that you had, so you had an idea. That idea is called in your mind. Yeah. It's not the literal definition of invention. It's a thought. It's an abstract thought, an idea, business idea. You assume, but you don't know whether it's going to be successful or not. So it's within. So that startup phase is where then you start to develop. So you're not going to go out in the streets. If you had your office or at home, wherever you started your business, like Steve Jobs of Apple and Jeff Bezos of Amazon, started their businesses in the garage. What's it called? Amazon CEO or Jeff Bezos started. I think it had a vision. I think it was 1994, and in 1995 he established. He saw a problem in the marketplace, and it decided that said it wanted to create. It wanted to create a business, an online retail business where people can buy products, different products. But guess what? That was from his mind, from within. So it started with books, 1995. And that was the startup phase. You see? Yeah. So I used that 1995. Yeah. And you've got Apple 1976. Yeah. So it started here. Best. Let me use Amazon. This is Amazon, 1995, right? The visual, I think I hope I'm correct on that. If I missed it, but I'm still explaining for it to make sense. So you can verify. Maybe I made an error in terms of the dates, but I believe that's what it is. So this is the startup phase in the entrepreneur life cycle. And then, so all the money invested, all the money generated, the revenue generated within that, this startup phase is where you think about money, how to start your business. Is the beginning where if you don't have money, maybe you think about family members or friends, or you want to go to the bank and receive money, right? The loan money. So this is the difficult part. This is where sometimes you can be in this zone, this phase, for years. Like people like us, me, I am within here right now. So challenges. I've lost 2,000. I lost over 30,000 pounds. When I shipped 40 feet container to raise money for my fashion brand, 2015, but I still have not given up. Yeah. So this is where you face, because you're building, because it's you alone. You're the CEO. You're the talking about. I was talking about the market and like business strategy you need when it comes to business development. All of that, you are the CEO. You're the founder. You are your team. You are the marketer. You're social media. You whatever name you want to give yourself. Yeah, you go through all of this. This is the self-employed. I call it a self-employed stage, because it's come from within. So in most cases, and then now you show it to the world. That's what I was trying to say. So I'll go, as we go along, I'll speak about this other growth stage, or this other stage as we go along. So when you the developments, or let me clarify this. Let me make it really quick. I might not come back to it, or I might come back to it. So this startup phase, Amazon started here, and then they generated whatever they need. The vision, that strategy, long-term vision, was not to just sell books. So was to buy different products. So for customers to buy different products on the platform globally. And one of the strategic positioning Amazon used, when they asked Jeff Bezos, the CEO, when he was interviewed, I'm just paraphrasing what I said. They saw the customers as guests attending party, and then they were the hosts to host them. So they wanted to create a better experience. That's value, yeah, to give them. So that's how this figuratively, how they went about to develop Amazon. But guess what? When you research Amazon, you will discover that the strategy they use, they were pumping the money, investing, using growth, growth strategy. That growth strategy is to actually expand from America, going globally, and get again big, as I was talking about, market when it comes to business development, to gain a huge markets in the marketplace. So to expand now from one shop to another online, from having from one location to another. And then, so all the money they had, not like African people that I know, or some business people that I know, they did not eat the money. They bought assets. The assets, that all the money they instead of they want to buy. I'll say when you don't use your money, you pay a lot of tax. So they invested it. They bought asset. That asset generated, I think it was between 2011, if I'm correct. So they were focusing on market growth, that growth strategy. They used growth strategy. So they reinvested all the revenue generated during that years. And then this is the growth. Here is the doing. That's the internal. So the growth is actually now the management. Talking about management, we're going to go deep into that. This is the startup phase is the doing, and the growth is actually the management phase. And from there, maturity stage. That's the third stage. That means diversification. How many products you think Amazon have? Countless products. And then the question is, would Amazon end up selling the CEO? That's the exit strategy. Or they say, no, you know what? We're not going to sell. So they go into the IPO, that stock initial offering, whatever. So this is pretty much product development. Brief, but a bit of details as well for people to understand. So now, if this is when you're starting, so if there are people that they've started already, they're still stuck here. So the question is how to get here. Those are the strategies and consultations I do, and I help businesses. So I've been helping people behind closed doors, but I've not been advertising my business. So that's why I said to you before, I'm working on my website and some other things. But these are the things I do. If any business organizations, even a nation like Sierra Leone, comes to me right now to help them to drive economic growth, to increase the GDP, then I've got strategic approach. This is what we use, like growth strategy. Because growth strategy in simple economics is just the expansion of your output and everything, because that reflects what it determines by the productivity. And it anyway, I don't want to go into economics, but you've got, for example, the four major branches in economics. You've got something we call, for example, you have land. Let me say land. You have labor. You have capitalism. Let me abbreviate it. Then you have capitalism. Then you have enterprise. Yeah. So just giving, I'm sharing the usual. I don't share much like this. So this land, for example, as I mentioned about the mind. So now your mind is the land where invention, as I said earlier, comes from. Innovation, business ideas that we think. Because all Richard talking about entrepreneur that falls within entrepreneurship. Richard Cantillon once said, according to his definition, is the father of entrepreneurship, one of the fathers of entrepreneurship. He learned from Adam Smith. So he defines land source as the source of all wealth, where all wealth comes from. So now you see how all wealth comes from. So, but but the labor means manual efforts. Entrepreneurship is effort, dedication, what you're doing, what we're doing here. So it's the effort we put into productivity that creates the foundation of wealth. So when you're doing business, people that they want to grow in business, they want to make money, but they don't want to go through business development. And it comes with effort, labor. And this capitalism, this is pretty much to do with the finance and everything. And there's a bigger concept for, I'm not going to go deep into that. But this enterprise is all of this falls within. But this enterprise is creating business. See the old business, but just different branches. The land resources, so your mind, so internal. So now it goes back to answer that again, the question what you said. So when I said business development, so you think about land. So where all these products inside them, the raw products we get from land, everything. You plant trees, everything is within. So we cannot, as I said yesterday, at the Abimbola's event, LinkedIn event, we were talking about the right mindsets. So cultivating a growth mindset to ignite brand success. And I said we cannot become successful without ourselves. Success starts from within. So my definition of success that I shared here in a book I co-author, and one of the co-author, I said success is an internal affairs. So I shared This is my definition of success. Yeah, I said it's an internal affairs, but it comes in two different aspects, two different spectrums. One internal, and that for ourselves, look within, seek innovation, greatness. I'm going to talk about that when I'm talking about strategies. And then for society, these are the things. So maybe the people can see this. And it's going to be in one of the books I'm going to publish as a solo author. You see? So what that means is that I said, I use success as an acronym. I said first, I said self, the S represents self, then the U, understanding. Yeah, we need to understand ourselves. That's self-awareness, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-management, regulation. The consciousness, then you have creation, all comes from within. This I have training program for them. Then empowerment, we need to empower ourselves. You have spirituality, that's another topic for another day. Sustainability, there is no business without sustainability. And that's why I talked about viability. You have fulfillment, uplifting, all of this liberation. So if you cannot, if as a CEO, business founders, if you're running a business, so these are the things that you need to be aware of your internal environment. And for society, you see the S represents social. So what social factors? In fact, the word social falls within the triple bottom line. The triple bottom line is an accounting terminology or business terminology. So the three important factors if you're creating any business, whether business development, whether new or you're starting from where you are, whether you're at the growth stage. So the triple bottom line are social factors, economic factors, environmental factors, like for example, climate change. I was working with an organization a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to mention the name. I walked away from the organization, and it's a corporate organization. They work with United Nations, but because there were things within the organization where I gave my core values, but I gave them some of my intellectual property. So I was part of the global climate change team. So the point I'm trying to make is, so if you're creating a business, you want to, like you're going through business developments, whether you're new in business, whether you want to grow from where you are, like Amazon, you want to diversify, you want to this maturity stage, you need to remember three factors. Those are the triple bottom line. So your products and services must address the needs, social needs, must address economic needs. If some people don't want to have money or empower on nations, just food for thought, or create a product and service that will not affect the environment, or perhaps even sustainability. That's a big fashion industry. You know, for example, I think if I'm correct, so it was 2018 when the governments of the United Kingdom they they approach the government approach two fashion brands in the UK, well-known fashion brands. One is Primark. I'll mention because it's an article I read it 2018. I still remember it. So Primark, they use what we call cost leadership. Let me see if I can talk whilst I'm doing that. I'll bring this up later. Yeah. So Primark, talking about sustainability, right? Primark was Primark is a global brand. They sell clothes, not only clothes, but they sell different items, but predominantly they sell clothes. From a strategic point of view, they use what we call cost cost leadership strategy. So Primark sell cheaper product clothes, and because of that, and people buy products when you buy cheap, and they're affecting the environment, right? That was what the article says, and the government, the UK government, they approached them. So you just like to say, you know what, Primark, now we're dealing with the crisis, sustainability issues. So you need to look into your strategy. So the governments, that implements regulations, and then and that again reflects or ECHA's cluster analysis tool, but I'll talk about that later. So Primark, their strategy is cost leadership. So what cost leadership means? It's a strategic approach for businesses to use to maximize profit, to target customers who have low income or perhaps who are looking for cheaper products as opposed to their competitors. So in that article, it says that Primark product ranges from, I think, if I'm correct, £2 to £200 within that range. So because it's cheaper, people buy clothes and then they dump it, and this end up a landfill waste, and it's affecting the environment. So, for Burberry, they had over 100 million worth of clothes items, and the reason why they overproduce during that year, so they refuse to reduce it, to put it on sales. Why? Because their strategic position in terms of business is called distinctive strategy. So what that means is that they're not cheap. So because their designs is unique, so it's a premium product, just like Apple. So therefore, they sell higher price. So it's not cost leadership, it's distinctive strategy, and that reflects the let me say the mindsets or the theorist from a strategic point of view known as Michael Porter. I said for a business to gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace, right, it has to be either cost leadership or distinctive strategy. Otherwise, they will stuck in the middle. They will not get it. So it's like an outside-in approach. What that means is that to bring a value in the marketplace, when you're designing your business, just like I said, you said when you answered to my question, you saw opportunity outside, but your mind thinks. It's a mindset. So you started to develop the business in your mind. So that's what I call invention. It's an idea. It's not been out yet from you. The idea might be out there, but your business idea, this is you now. This is a new Obehi. You've got an idea. Now you need to put it on paper. So you start, that's the process of bringing that in. That's why I said business development starts from within, not from outside.
Let's look at what a business person might consider before developing a business. What are the things to avoid when you're developing a business? 3 things to avoid when you are developing a business so that it can succeed.
Well, so 3 things to avoid when you develop a business.
Yeah.
So you can succeed. What are questions? So okay. Maybe I'm going to bring that back again to write it down, but I'll explain it maybe towards the end. Maybe I'll bring back that my flip chart. So let me answer this straight. My own understanding, my observation based on my specialty. I don't call myself expert, but I know specialty falls within that, because expert means you know what you know. Yeah, and those are past experience. I understand that, because the word expert, in fact, when you think about Thomas Edison, tried 10,000 times, and it resonates from that. So what that means is that for you to become an expert, you have to keep doing the same thing for 10,000 times hours. So my question is, how many experts we've had within a year? So that means that idea is obsolete, it's outdated. We need to update our minds, our business mindsets. As an individual, as a business CEO, just like we update our cars, our phones, like software, because we need to update. So there's no such thing as you have to do 10,000. Look at you. You can say for you've not done, just for example, hypothetically, you just started doing videos, right? So you've doing it for 1 year. that you've gained skills that perhaps people who have actually been doing it for 30 years, they've not gained that skill. So you're an expert. So the word expert, we need to put it aside, because I don't want to go. That's again, there's something negative connotation that connects with that when it comes to slavery and export, but it's okay. But the point I'm trying to say here is that I will answer the questions that, from my own understanding, my own thoughts, based on all my knowledge, all my experience, and my observation. I don't think we can avoid three things. There were many, countless things, right? I don't have the answers to everything in life or in business, but I have the answer to my life, and based on my own observations. So the answer that I will give to that, I'm coming from a different direction. So firstly, what people need to, or business people or business aspiring entrepreneurs need to understand, there is no such thing as failure in business if you keep pursuing your goals, the initial reason, your why. As long as you not keep repeating yourself doing the same wrong thing, because the wrong mindset that you use that created the business problems or the problem you're going through will not save you from solving that problem. And that reflects what Albert Einstein once said: we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. But what I would say people need to be in mind, to be mindful of when it comes to business, to succeed in business, know that there's a strategic tools that we use, yeah, that you need to use, or use two tools. Yeah, there are many tools out there. One is called a SWOT analysis. Yeah. So use the SWOT analysis. I'm going to write it down. I'll explain so if you can see, understand better. SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym. Let me write it so it makes sense. I will not take long. So that's a great question, by the way. Great question.
Thank you.
It depends on who is answering that question, because a lot of people will give, say, I'm an expert, this is thing. So, and then I'll explain and then continue with that. For entrepreneurs, and businesses, let me put this. But let's for businesses. Okay. So you asked the question, so what to avoid? So let people forget about what to avoid. You cannot avoid three things. You can if you choose your own way. But this, I want people to understand where I'm coming from. Just use it, because this, now let me start with this. This is cool. This is the threat. This is threats. These are threats, right? So when you talk about the things, so I was smiling that we cannot avoid. This is a strategic tools that every organization, organizations or businesses must use to assess the internal environment. Yeah?
Yeah.
Strategic tools every business must use, or entrepreneurs, to assess their internal environment, right? So now, okay, I'm gonna connect some dots here. So I'm trying to, I like to improvise. So let me see. Okay, you can see. So let me say business. So it will make sense. This is a lecture I'm giving people here. And I would say lecture, workshop, entry environment. I want to make sure. Okay. Also, okay, go out of the way. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now, yeah. So there's a reason why I'm doing this, to explain your questions. Wow. Okay, so now you see these threats?
Yeah.
I'll explain it briefly, but when I'll sum it up, I'll give it briefly, but I want the audience to understand, and you two to understand where I'm coming from. So these threats are factors, yeah, are factors in the external environment. Yeah. And let me see, in the external, let me put it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's external. Our factors, threats, they're defined into three things to avoid. In business, yeah. Remember, I said this is a strategic tools to use to assess the internal environment of your business, your organization. I even use this for personal development for people to work on themselves. When you come to me for business, trust me, by the time you go, I use a holistic approach to help people. And then you will not only gain some business ideas or some of the problems that you're dealing with within your organization, you also learn something about yourself that you didn't know before. So I use this as well for the personal development. So now, from a business perspective, as I said, it's a strategic tools organization needs to use. So this is it's an acronym, right? S means strength, right? S means strength. Yeah. W means weaknesses. Weaknesses. And it's all just like we were talking about opportunities, right? Opportunities. Opportunities. Okay. Now they get my word. So these are, I do like a proper, this is just sum it up for people to understand. So now, when you ask the question, they said what to avoid. So I want entrepreneurs to know that, or business people, organization, whoever, even your nations, you cannot avoid problems in life or in the business environment. This word I've defined business before. This environment is like the marketplace. So there's another strategic tools that I'm just gonna let right. I'm not gonna spell in details. There's another strategic tools called pestle analysis, right? So this pestle analysis, yeah. So so that before going to the pestle analysis, right? Before going to that, so as I said, now before you think about what to avoid, say let me look within my business organizations, right? So you started, you were maybe startup phase, or you're struggling and you're not making profits and you're not creating value, you're not getting customers. Sometimes you're making what's it called? You're making profit, but you're not you don't have many customers, right? So you need to look within. So whatever issues that you might be going through, you just need to look within, and you want to add value. Stop competing with people. You can use what we call competitors analysis. Study your competitors, what they're doing, and then look at the pains they're not solving, the problems they're not solving. Then that's where you add. So you can use whether imitate what other product they're doing, but you actually look what they're not solving. So, but remember, be mindful of intellectual property. When I mean not like the actual take, like for example, I'm in the fashion industry. Said, okay, I'm gonna go into fashion industry. Now look at what fashion businesses they're not doing. Then you learn from that, and then you create that distinctive strategy, or whether you want to be cheap or not. But be mindful of that. So anyway, so now, so this SWOT analysis is divided. This SWOT is divided into two. So the W, S, strength. So now ask yourself, as a business person or entrepreneurs, so what are my strengths? These are things I have training workshop for that. So assess and then find, when you find your strengths, but and then you ask, what are you not good at? That's your weaknesses. You list them down. When you list them down, now you work from that. So if you're or not online, right? And obviously it's a weakness, then perhaps you don't even know how to use the internet online. You don't know about IT, you don't know about social media. So what you need to do, that's another thought for another day. So you've got now the opportunities in the marketplace. So this is the external opportunities are in the marketplace, or you can even have opportunity within yourself, within your organization. But that's why this SWOT analysis for internal, assess your internal environments. So these opportunities are business opportunities, advanced technologies. You can collaborate. So people online. This is longer than this brief workshop I'm giving, right? So to speak. So now let's think about threats. So threats are factors in the business environment. I define the environment before the business environment in the marketplace. Because when it comes to the business development, you want to develop your business, think about your customers, markets, and the that's within this marketplace. Very, very important, because this business environment, we have issues these are threats. Everything's outside you or your business. They are beyond your control. You cannot control, you cannot avoid them. No one avoided pandemic doing the business. Forced people who I remember prior to pandemic, I was writing. If you've been following me on Facebook, you would see I've talked about it. Even some people who were upset, and then they ended up like, I offended and they follow me as well. Because I said, when the pandemic happened, I'm very direct. I said, when I was encouraging people to capture online the opportunity to let go of that fixed mindset, embrace growth mindset, to capitalize on this advanced technology, and they were not paying attention. I said, now the pandemic happened, they've affected, they learned a lesson. And one lady said, oh, you shouldn't say you should feel sorry. I said, no, I'm a business. I speak directly. I'm speaking not to celebrate their misfortune, but to encourage and empower. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. So when the business environment, you can see, because the technological world, I think if I'm correct, between 1950s and 70s, businesses like Blockbuster, they saw the opportunities. Perhaps they've got their CEOs, because all of the major companies, they use these tools, but they don't know how to use it. They don't have the growth mindset. That's why I mentioned about the mind, everything from within. The CEOs, the managers, they can affect the business, the stakeholders of your organization. That's why commercial awareness is very, very important. So anyway, so I'm in Blockbuster, and Blockbuster versus Netflix. Netflix, they've been, I think, over 20 years ago, they've been in the digital world, in the marketplace. So they started their business. So when they're online, so when they saw the opportunity, so they wanted to collaborate. That's a mindset, innovation from a design thinking perspective. So the CEO of Netflix approached Blockbuster CEO, who had now you see where I'm coming from now, expert for over 20 years. I said, okay, you are Obehi, you are the CEO of Blockbuster. So you've established Blockbuster in the entertainment industry, or people they don't know, they dominated the markets in the entertainment world. So they were making money, and the business model they were using was when you rent videos and CDs. So when you return the videos late, they charge money. That's where you can look it up. That's where they were making most of their money. That's one of the business modules they were using. So anyway, so because they've got the relationship, they were successful in the industrialization era. They were successful when the digital era was not in existence, it was not popular. And now, I came to you as a CEO of Blockbuster. I am the founder of Netflix. I am online. Let's collaborate. Let's work. I'll take your business online. You bring my business in your shop, because that's brick and mortar. That means physical store. So the CEO laughed at him. You laughed at me. And then you refuse to collaborate with me because you think you've got experts. You are experts. You know everything because you've success. You've already become successful. So as a result of that, what happened? I think it was around 2010. What did we hear? Blockbuster went bankruptcy, went into administration. Now, where you see Netflix, and then Netflix made billions of dollars. I think 28. So you see where I'm coming from. So the point I was trying to say is that, when you ask me about what to avoid, so you cannot, in the business environment, you cannot, this pest analysis, let me round it up. So in the business environment, this is a tools that you use to assess, to solve the external business environment. So this is, you identify political issues, economic issues, social factors, technology, as I was talking about, Netflix and Blockbuster and the social media. And then you've got environmental issues. I talked about sustainability in terms of Primark and Burberry, because government regulation and legal issues. So these are things, these are threats you cannot change. The inflation increase in the UK, 8 points, whatever, for me, my bill, I cannot stop that. My bill for my internet, 8%. What I need to do is to focus, assess my strengths, my weaknesses, and then add value, create more, bring more value so I can add more money, then I can address these issues. So in other words, to cut it short, I would have explained it that they wouldn't have learned. So you cannot avoid threats in the business environment. But by looking within your organizations, assess your strengths and weaknesses, then identify opportunity in the marketplace, and then keep exploring. Don't get stuck by your success yesterday, because the strategy you used yesterday might not work today. You need to have a sense of fluidity, your mindset. That's a strategy for thoughts. Yeah, okay.
All
Yeah,
right. So, talking about innovation, how do you see the role of innovation in business, the way, of course, that you operate?
It's very, very vital. It's crucial for the sustainability of any business. So I do have a training program for that. Again, my business identity, so to speak, personal development, business development, or nation community development. So the role of business innovation, if I want to answer it straight, I can answer within 5 seconds, is vital for the viability of any business. So now let me go a bit further for people to understand. So the word innovation, just like business development, has been widely misconstrued again by organizations, corporate organizations, even businesses who are actually making millions or billions out there, because they're still fixed on the old mindsets. There is a strategy called innovation dilemmas. As I was talking about those things, when I was doing the comparison between Netflix and Blockbuster, so a thought crossed my mind, a strategy that I learned when I was studying and doing business, and what I use as well. I've talked about that before. It's called innovation dilemmas. So what innovation dilemma means? So there were different types of innovation dilemmas, but I'll focus on one major thing, because you have different types of innovation. You have process innovation, you say innovation product, but to be precise, when I was talking about the mindsets, so the main one of the main ones to focus on, right? Because you need to start at the bottom, is the product push versus market pull. So traditional business people or managers or so-called innovators, they have that expertise mindsets. So when they want to design a product or service, just like you said in the beginning, you rightly put it, you have to serve people. But why? You have to bring value in the marketplace. As I always say, value creation is the foundation of innovation that will lead to transformation, will transform the lives of people and your business. And that would create acquisition, profit. I see people say, focus on the price. I used to embrace that mentality before. Put your eyes on the price. And I realized that after I learned and realized my own personal experience, And I said, why put my eyes on the price when I can focus on the opportunity and create value that would attract the price that I deserve? So we focus on making money. We focus on quantity, having customers. You can make $1 million overnight. Trust me, the question is, would you have a viable business? No, because those customers, you're not helping them, you're not sustaining them. So they will buy to you today, they will not come tomorrow. Maybe your customer service is not good. That's why I said look within, assess your customer service, your marketing approach, all of this thing, customer retention strategy, and employee retention, high employee turnover. I worked in the retail industry for over 14 years. And I know I've got a book that I'm not going to publish yet about retail, because I've got many books that I've not published. But and what I'm trying to say is that just like you ask the questions, the innovation is crucial, and it's mindset. It's not what people think. People think innovation, is to have new idea. That's the literal sense of it. Even I was taught my master's design innovation management. What I was taught in the classroom with what I've learned outside the classroom, totally different, right? But I learned some valuable ideas, right? Theories. I learned them, and then I worked with companies, innovative companies, global companies, who were dealing with real life issues, right? One of them was how to help the National Health Service in the UK to reduce the cost. They were spending over 40 million on sleeping issues. So I've gathered some ideas doing that research. And one of the research, I was targeting employees and business and students. So the point I'm trying to make here is that innovations all start from within. So you've seen it, because people focus on that product push. The product push is that they focus on creating a product without actually understanding the needs of their customers to address the needs. And then this is where people like us, or design thinker, would come from a strategic point of view. And again, it resonates with Michael Porter's view. It says that to gain a competitive market advantage, we need to focus on an outside-in approach. What that means is that product market pull means gather insights. Your strategy or your design should be driven by outside factors, the end users of your products or services. So when you use empathy, understanding, asking questions, not yes or no, not just for numbers, but study with people. Like if you have to live with people to understand their pains, gather insight, take notes of their body language, the things that affect their lives. Don't say, I'm going to look for criminal. You have this idea that, criminal has to have this certain character. It looks like my skin color, or is this addressing a certain. You will miss the opportunity to discover meaningful insights. So we go with an open mind, be strategic, and have that growth mindset. Investigate, study, observe target audience, and that insights, that's what will drive innovation. And then you come now internally, you use the inside out approach. That's the resources-based view. This resources-based view is that to get a competitive advantage in the marketplace, you need to focus your design or strategy should start from within. And again, that's why I said use a SWOT analysis. What people do you have or working for you? If you don't have people, but if you have people working for you, what skills do they have? If they don't have the skills, what do you need to do? Those are the questions. Those are the work that I do with people, business people, and individual. So you assess, you look for their competencies, and then the resources. Do you have the physical resources? The computer, you mentioned earlier on before this conversation about your laptop you were using, all you needed it for to create your videos. If it's affecting you, what you need to do, you said in that case, for your situation, you invested, and that's, you see, helping you to continue to help. So all of that innovation is not only about brand new, but you've got incremental innovation. You've got radical innovation. You can come with brand new idea. For example, the VR, that virtual device. If you look it up, when it was first designed, it was the product push idea mentality mindset. That means the designers, the so-called expertise, they assume what customers, the target audience will want. So they use the expertise, they design something very fanciful and nice, but it was failed. So until when they learned a lesson and then they redesign it and they added value. And one of the reasons why they failed, because the technology was not there to support that. You see where I'm coming from? So if they had done what years the approach that I use and other well-known companies use, like Apple, Amazon, Google, we use design thinking mindsets. Use that you gather insights and then you add value. So they failed. So innovation is not about new. So that wasn't new. It was never been introduced into the marketplace. It was new, but it did not address what Tim Brown, one of the well-known design thinker, the founder of Ideal, used design thinking. I think it did, if I'm correct, 2009, I'm corrected, 2009 or 8. It used design thinking approach. It worked with a medical institution. So according to his definition about design thinking and innovation, it said any product for a product to be considered as innovative product that has values to the marketplace, but it has to address 3 issues, and it happens within 3 phases. So in a nutshell, I said it has to be feasible. Feasibility, that's the functionality, the aspect of the product itself or the service, and then desirability. Then the customer things that, because for your product to be desirable for me, it needs to address my problems or whatever social status I want to get. If Apple want to make me look like I'm posh or this or security, whatever things that you want to, that's the desirability aspect of it. That's for the customer. Now the viability is for the business to survive. That's what comes with business module. So that means you have your product meets the visibility aspect of things and it's desirable. But if you don't have the business model, that's the strategy for your business to sustain, for you to keep serving your customer. You keep serving business, you fail.
All right, Buckarie, I want you to look around the brands that are out there today. I want you to pinpoint maybe 1 or 2 that have been able to use innovation correctly in their business so that we can see them as good example to follow. Could you share with me?
1, Apple. The reason why Apple was established in 1976, right? And now look where Apple is. But when you think about Blockbuster, because they didn't embrace the innovative mindset, the growth mindset, the things I was saying, that holistic approach, a sense of flexibility. That's why they're no longer in existence. That's the one good one versus, I wouldn't say bad, but because I used to say that, but it makes sense if you say bad, but because they lack the growth, that innovative mindset, as I spoke in my book. That's why they failed. In fact, I mentioned about that in a book we published. I'm one of the 70 co-author leaders of that book we published last year. It's called Future Ready Leaders. So I use Blockbuster and Netflix about the lack of innovative mindsets, why they failed. So Apple, they thrived because of that. If you study Apple, when many times when Steve Jobs was interviewed, I said sometimes when you speak with people, business people, they said they're in the business to make money. They said if you're in business to make money, just forget it. You need to create value. you have to be different. Not only just different for the sake of different, but bring value. And Steve Jobs had a vision. And remember, a lot of people, I said this in my book, a lot of people, they thought Steve Jobs was the only person behind Apple. They thought Steve Jobs was the technical man, but they didn't understand, because people, if you want to succeed in business, study successful business and study ones that are unsuccessful. You can learn from either parties, right? So Steve Jobs was only a co-author and co-founder of Apple. And he worked with Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak was the tech guy. In fact, he did not go to school, but he learned from students as well. He started from within. He was doing it for fun, not for money, until someone connected him with Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, he was a visionary leader, good at marketing. Steve Jobs had, when he built the first computer in his garage, I'm not sure if it was 1984. So he worked with Steve Wozniak. It was connection, that networking. So it was connected. And that's what it was, because of the innovative mindset. They were not building products for themselves. They were building it for people, for the target audience, to create value, to be different, and also celebrating people who are doing good. So to be innovative is not to be buried into your mindset. Tradition kills innovation. So innovation creates invention creates innovation. Because when you look at the word invention is an abstract idea. It's the knowledge, it's just the thoughts. But innovation is using that idea, as I was talking about, from within, and then you bring it into real life to create value, turn it into products. So that's the importance of innovation. It's not about just being new. It's about adding value, then continue to be sustainable, and then keep creating added value.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Buckarie. It's really been an interesting conversation today. Now, for people that want to connect with you, how can they reach out to you? Before I ask you, what is your final thought here?
So, well, you can reach me via you Google my name, you'll find me on LinkedIn, Buckarie. I'm going to write it here. I think it'll be, yes.
No, it's okay. They're going to see the name, because the name is going to be on the video.
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can find me on Facebook. I use Buckarie Dumbuya. I also use Buckarie as my official name on Facebook. I've got 2 accounts on Facebook, but for whatever reasons, I lost the official one. But I'm gonna get it back. It's still online, but just contact me through the Buckarie Dumbuya, because that's what I've been using holistically since 2008. So my website, I'm still working on it. There are issues that I need to fix. But LinkedIn is my professional page. You can hook me up there. You can find me there. Connect with me. I'm open, and I can have a consultation with you, and then we'll take it there. One of the strategies that I use when you come to me for business to help you, whether it's to do with personal development or business development, community development, I don't give you the answer straight away. I use what I call business diagnosis. I diagnose you first. So that conversation would help me to understand what you need, not what you say you want. So my name is Buckarie, also known as Buckarie Dumbuya.
Thank you so much for that. So what would be your final thought here to conclude the conversation that we have had today, talking about business development, innovation, and of course, also we also talked a little bit about the question of mindset. So how would you conclude it for the people?
I'll conclude it with let me see. Let me put this here. I think I actually talked about it earlier. Let me see. Oh yeah, I can get it. I'm going to conclude it with a post I did. I shared on LinkedIn. It's about mindset. Just a second. Okay, now, so my conclusion will be this statement I wrote earlier today on the 10th of May, 2024. So it's an article you will find on my LinkedIn page. I'll publish it today. I was meant to publish it prior to this discussion. So I'm going to publish it now. You will check it. If you watch this afterwards, you can go on my LinkedIn. It'll be there. Entitled The Mind. So now that you've listened to the conversation I've had with Obehi, I would like you to know that whether you are in business to make money, whether you are in business to as a philanthropist to create like social enterprise, it doesn't really matter what you do. You have to create value. And where the value comes from, it comes from assessing your internal environments. Use the strategic tools I shared, SWOT analysis. S, look at the strength that you have, whether you're in business or not, or you're about to start a business, or if you're in business, always assess your strength. Always look for opportunity. Don't get stuck into your past success. Otherwise, you will fail because you fail to allow yourself to grow. So everything starts within your mind. Every organization, the organizational culture is determined by someone's thoughts. The CEO or the founder of the business comes from the mind. So the post I shared earlier, I said the mind, like land. The mind is the source where all wealth, inventions, and innovation begin before becoming real in the world. Conversely, the mind is like a war zone for fixed mindsets and unwise people who refuse to use their inner greatness to take dominion over their lives and everything on earth or in the marketplace. So that's what I want you to go take away with. Remember your mind. It's a choice to choose as a battleground. I've had people, motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, whatever you call yourself, they said, oh, the mind is the battleground. Yes, I understand that. But for me, it's not the battleground. It used to be because it's a choice I made. Strategy is a choice. I shared it. It's a choice. It's not a battleground. I refuse. Otherwise, I'll continue to fight. Yes, it is the land where wealth, solution, everything is. So I see my mind as the ground where I need to plant the seed to succeed in life. So see that, your mind. So listen to me, but don't allow me to influence you negatively. Listen to people out there, but don't allow them to influence you negatively. Listen to society, because you and your mind is where your thoughts start to develop and grow. And that would reflect on the outside, and that will lead to motivation. Remember, motivation fades away. It's your mindset that keeps watching with inspiration. That's why I am the spirit of inspiration and transformation. Become the managing director of your life. Dr. B, also known as Buckarie. Thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you so much, Buckarie. That is a good advice. That is a good advice.
You're welcome. Thank you too.